The Nintendo Switch is unbelievably already 2 years old as of earlier this month, so I figured it was time to feature a video around the console, but instead of simply covering the best games, I thought I'd run down 10 at the best looking. Although the Switch obviously isn't as powerful as any of the PS4 or Xbox One models, there are some truly great looking games I want to highlight. Some you may well expect, others possibly not so much. To begin, we have XENOBLADE Chronicles 2. XENOBLADE Chronicles 2 definitely isn't going to be winning any awards for its resolution, running at 720p while docked and dropping on occasions to as low as 368p in handheld mode. If you can get past the numbers though, it's actually a rather good looking game, largely because of its vibrant art direction and incredible sense of scale that really is unrivaled by many other games, I think. Game number 2 is a port of the Wii U exclusive BAYONETTA 2. The port doesn't drastically make any real alterations over the Wii U counterpart, aside from an increase in texture filtering, even maintaining the same resolution of 720p. It does however offer a sizable improvement in the performance department, with upwards of 10 to 20 FPS over the Wii U version while docked. Although Bayonetta 2 on the Switch doesn't boast a significant graphical improvement, it remains a visually pleasing title, one you can appreciate all the more with a much smoother performance, which for such a title is incredibly important. Next up we have Dragon Ball FIGHTERZ. Dragon Ball FIGHTERZ released a little later on the Switch than on other platforms, but it's a great port that stands up remarkably well to the other versions. The game runs at a dynamic resolution in both docked and handheld mode, hitting up to 1080p on the former and up to 720p on the latter. It does have lower resolution textures and less particle effects, but overall it looks extremely crisp and not all that far off the PS4 and Xbox versions. Its biggest issue is not holding a solid 60 FPS, but that aside, visually it looks fantastic and his art style really shines. Like Bayonetta 2, this entry is another Wii U port, albeit this time with some more notable gameplay additions. Mario Kart 8 ups a resolution of 720p on the Wii U to 1080p on the Switch while docked, but retains the original 720p during portable play. Outside of the docked resolution increase, it looks pretty much the same as the Wii U version, minus improved shadows and texture filtering. That however doesn't mean it's not still a great looking title, as it absolutely is, holding up incredibly well in 2019 with vibrant, eye-catching visuals. When Mario plus Rabbids was originally leaked prior to its reveal at E3 2017, it was almost immediately written off as a terrible idea. However, come release, it turned out to be a surprisingly solid, fun game, perfectly fusing the Rabbids and Mario IPs together. Not only is the game great, it's also quite the looker. Despite falling short of 1080p while docked at 900p and only 600p in handheld mode, it makes use of some good anti-aliasing that ultimately results in a clean, sharp image, one of the best looking titles on the Switch to date. Moving on, we have a game that's been ported more times than I can possibly count over the last decade, however the Switch port is a pretty damn great one. Okami HD runs at 1080p docked and 720p in handheld mode. The Switch version seems to utilise 4 times MSAA like the PS3 version, which especially in the case of docked mode, results in one of the sharpest presentations on the console. Even though you may lose a little visual fidelity while on handheld mode, you gain the ability to control this celestial brush with the touchscreen, which is arguably the most intuitive way to control it out of all the versions. For the next title we have one you likely wouldn't expect, certainly a contrast to the rest of the entries on this list. Outlast 2 runs just short of 1080p docked at 1008p and 720p in handheld mode, sitting at 30 FPS on both. Even though there are some downgrades over the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game, in motion it looks pretty damn close to them, with the real difference being the drop from 60 FPS to 30 FPS, a necessary reduction to keep the presentation sharp. Outlast 2 is a perfect example of how third-party games can still look superb on the Switch compared to other versions on more powerful hardware. The following entry is one you no doubt expected to appear somewhere on this list: ZELDA Breath of the Wild. Easily the first impressive title for the Switch, and the main reason you likely bought one at launch. Breath of the Wild uses dynamic scaling, generally running at 900p, reducing to 810p during intensive moments while docked. Handheld mode also uses scaling, running at 720p the majority of the time, but reducing to 648p during certain moments. Breath of the Wild has a vast world to explore however you choose, a charming art style that is arguably the best the series has seen yet, and despite being a launch title, is easily still one of the most eye-catching on the console. The second from last game is Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is another example that uses a dynamic resolution, going anywhere from 900p to 720p on some occasions while docked. In portable mode it appears to generally run at 720p, although at times it uses an interesting interpolation technique, jittering two 640 by 720 images together, which doesn't always look as sharp as it could, especially in motion. Regardless, Odyssey is still ridiculously good looking thanks to its incredible art direction that varies massively between each of its worlds, all oozing with style and character. Of course, Odyssey is also one of the most imaginative and fun games of the last few years, which makes it one of the best Switch games all round. Lastly, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Smash Bros. Is known primarily for its crazy mashup of numerous iconic video game characters, but Zace's entry also happens to be one of the most standout games on the console, not just from a gameplay or roster perspective, but also from a visual one. The game runs at a sharp 1080p docked and 720p in portable mode. What's awesome about portable mode is that whilst the resolution does take a hit, pretty much everything minus shadows remains the same, resulting in an impressive image even on the small screen. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is truly a brilliant showcase for what's capable on the Switch, as well as a perfect title to pick up and play with friends, at home or on the go. That's it for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for a notification each time a video goes live. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.